Wednesday, April the 3rd edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here along with you. Let's start off with a look at our highs from yesterday. What a warm day all across the region. 80s in many spots, even Asheville hitting 81. It was almost 90 down in Columbia. Wilmington not far from 92. 86 in Charlotte, 85 in Greensboro, 86 Raleigh and Greenville. This morning, 50s and 60s, even the mountains are in the 50s. Very mild early April setup across the region. Now, I wanted to show you the dew point map here. Notice the dew points from the mountains east through a lot of the Piedmont are in the 30s this morning. The dew points are much higher to the west of the mountains, and that plays a role in our forecast today. Here's the reason. You have some showers and storms back into Kentucky and Tennessee that are rolling eastward that look pretty impressive right now. But those showers and thunderstorms are going to be encountering that drier air in place over the Carolinas, and they'll be weakening with time. Now, having said that, I do think some showers will briefly zip through the mountains, foothills, and some Piedmont spots through the first half of the day today, but they will be losing intensity as they do so, as they encounter that drier air. Still a severe thunderstorm watch active in eastern Kansas to Missouri. Some flood warnings still up in that direction as well, and we're kind of gearing up for what will likely be a big severe weather today. There's the overall setup, and as we go forward in time, there's a significant risk of severe storms in the Mississippi Valley. I'll show you that in just a second. So again, here's the overall setup. This little batch of some showers and a couple thunderstorms rolling our way this morning. I do think we see a few of those showers zip through very quickly this morning. But then we're looking at dry conditions this afternoon, probably dry all night, and most of tomorrow will be dry too until that cold front rolls our way. There's your day one severe weather outlook. That's a sizable moderate risk from Kentucky into Missouri and Illinois down and through much of Arkansas, parts of Mississippi, and northern Louisiana. And here's the kind of evolution of that system. Notice those thunderstorms really firing off this afternoon and into this evening over that moderate risk area. And that system then progresses eastward from there. Now, again, I think most of our region dry through a majority of the day tomorrow, but then by late afternoon and certainly into the evening, we'll get into the chance of a few showers and storms as that front moves through. And then back to dry weather for Saturday, but it will be cooler weather. Some of us seeing 60s for highs Saturday, and probably all of us 60s at best here across the Piedmont for highs on Sunday. Now, we will monitor the storms late tomorrow. There's a slight risk running from New Orleans up into southwestern Pennsylvania, including the westernmost Carolinas. And it's not a huge severe weather threat. The storms will be weakening, and the dynamics are pulling up well north into the Great Lakes, but it is something to monitor late into the day tomorrow. Now, still looks like a very wet setup on Sunday. The GFS model has shifted its position with this low pressure Monday westward to what the European has been indicating for a while now. So it looks like it's going to be a scenario where we have rain and maybe even a few thunderstorms involved too. I'll show you more on that in a second. And then following that system, here's the European temperatures Wednesday and Thursday, looking at some cooler weather for sure. 50s and low 60s for highs those days on the backside of that departing system. All right, so here's the upper air chart, 500 millibars from the European model today. And you're looking at that disturbance diving down into the plain states. That's actually valid this evening. And you go out to 42 hours. This is tomorrow afternoon. You notice again that main dynamic energy pulling up into the Great Lakes. All right, so then we look at down the road. This is going to be out to next week. And I'll show you the surface charts in just a second. This is Monday. Then you go out to Wednesday. We're in the midst of a pretty big upper air trough as that swings on through. Okay, now on to the surface charts of the European model. There's this evening, all the storms firing back in the warm sector in that severe weather threat area, and then that system rolls in here late tomorrow and tomorrow evening with a diminishing area of showers and storms. All right, here's Sunday evening, and looks like we might have to mention the chance of at least some light rain across southernmost North Carolina by later in the day Sunday. But then certainly Sunday night into Monday morning, there comes all the moisture lifting up to the northeast through our region. Low pressure centered at that point in time over Indiana and Ohio. And it's like a pretty wet scenario. Let me show you the Canadian representation of this. This is Sunday evening, and it actually brings some rain up into most of North Carolina, although it's very light during the day Sunday. And then certainly very wet again as you get into the Monday time period. Here is the GFS presentation of that Monday morning time frame. Low pressure pretty intense over the western parts of Tennessee and Kentucky. You'd have to, in this setup, if this were correct, you'd have to monitor for severe storms here in this area. Probably cool enough that in most of North Carolina, at least at that point in time, it's just rain, but want to see how the atmosphere destabilizes as we get deeper into the day Monday. Now later on next week, there's that big upper air trough. This is Wednesday evening. A few showers underneath that cold air aloft on the European model. And certainly some chillier temperatures. Nothing brutally cold about it, but certainly cooler. And I can't rule out by maybe Thursday morning the chance of a frost in at least parts of the region. Now let's go through the convective outlooks very quickly. Again, there's your categorical outlook for today. Here's the probabilities. The tornado probability is pretty significant. 15% hatched area, Arkansas, Missouri. And the wind probability is 45% up and down the Mississippi River Valley down to around Greenville, Mississippi. And here's your hail probabilities, very significant today as well. Now, as far as tomorrow is concerned, there's your categorical risk. And in terms of the probabilities, this 15% area lines up with a slight risk. Now, there is a chance that if it looks like enough destabilization will occur, you might see this slight risk extended further to the east in parts of the Carolinas. That remains to be seen. Bottom line is late tomorrow and tomorrow evening, a couple of strong to severe storms are a possibility. The weekend cooler, and for a lot of the weekend dry, at least Saturday for sure, and then a wet Monday and cooler temperatures next week. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Have a great day, and God bless.